Teaching Holistic Systems Thinking by Robert Johansson. Originally a presentation to the International Society for the Systems Sciences 2021 conference, July 11th, 2021. It has been edited for length. How do you teach holistic systems thinking to parents, adults with problem children in the inner city? The parents were beginning with the cultural bias of Western materialism, mechanistic reductionism, and behaviorism. The parents are usually looking for some trick or technique or technology that would allow them to control their children. We needed to transform that culturally biased thinking into holistic systems thinking. Holistic systems thinking has three aspects: information and communication, cybernetics or control theory, and Gestalt or nested systems. Facilitating the group is modeling, group building, and the leadership skills needed to unite a group of unique individuals, and to do all this in a vocabulary accessible to the average person. This last part is not that hard a problem, since we do live in holistic systems and have long had ways of talking about them. Holistic thinking means moving up the relationship ladder from object relations, it, to instrumental relations, I, it, to authority relations, I, you, to negotiated relationships, I, thou, to the family relationships, we, and the larger society. The mechanistic reductionist model sees all relationships as object relationships, it. Behaviorism sees the relationship as instrumental, I, it. The parent is the subject, I. Children are objects, it, to be manipulated by the impact of stimuli. To understand the subject as agent, we have to move to cybernetic models. Cybernetic thinking means understanding systems as agents, as decision-making systems. Power is the ability to make decisions. Moving to the authority model, I-U, means moving to a communication system view. Ideas control behavior. Therefore, change comes from communication. This means seeing relationships in terms of harmonizing. Moving to the negotiated level, I, thou, means being able to see the other person as a decision-making person. And this means that they too operate with models, values, and perceived options in their perceived environment. And they too make decisions about their models, values, options, and environment. Moving to the family level, we, means seeing that the family as a whole has family models, family values, and family options, and allows us to think of the family environment as nested in the larger control systems of society and nature. In Winnipeg, this meant understanding many of the families as living in the native culture or the Filipino culture. Of course, people are involved at all levels and shift between levels and have a basic understanding of how to operate in holistic systems. Much of this is unconscious, and some of this is explored in the social sciences. Our goal was to make the theoretical models available at a level of abstraction that was useful. You can only teach people what they want to learn. Thus we ask, what do you want to learn? This is an adult relationship at the negotiated level. We were hoping to share some ideas about communication, control, and group building, and a few related skills. What are people like? People communicate. The goal of communication is harmony. We want your ideas to be in harmony with my ideas. People have different ideas and different languages. Communication always requires working at finding a common language. Ideas are historical. Parents learn from their parents. What do you think of how your parents raised you? The family is about communication. How do people communicate? Do they share? Do they understand one another? In the information model, communication is about harmonizing. To communicate, you have to speak the same language. Thus, the first step in communication is to listen. People are control systems. They have goals. Everyone tries to control their environment. They have a mental model of how the world works, basic values and goals, and a set of skills for acting on their environment. The simplest model of a control system is the cybernetic control loop. There are 4 processes: sense, evaluate, choose, act. These processes are controlled by our models, our values, our options, and our environment. Kids are people. They try to control their environment, so they have goals and values too. In ordinary language, sensing, what do you think? Evaluating, how do you feel? Choosing, what are your options? Feedback, how's that working for you? Or how's that working for your family? The family is a control system. It is attempting to control the environment and the members to achieve family goals: food, clothing, housing, etc., space, time, play, health, and tools. This requires building a family with a family culture with shared goals and values and routines in order to act cooperatively. Holism. The and parties. Sharing sorrow. A family mourns together, sharing grief, guilt, depression, and anger, and finding faith, responsibility, persistence, and gratitude. The family grieves and shares with the larger community, including the faith community. Keep on learning. We are constantly changing. There is head learning, where we get new ideas, gut learning that comes from finding new skills and options, and experiential learning from practice and experiment, and heart learning that comes from models and peers and associations. The organic strategy is start small and grow. We learned that you can teach holistic systems thinking to ordinary people in ordinary language, but there is resistance from instrumental and authoritarian systems. What did you learn? For an exposition of the theoretical basis of holistic systems theory, watch Information is Choice, Part 2.